Did whistleblower and Dominion staffer Melissa Carone see Detroit voter fraud? No, this claim is missing context. Carone was not a staffer for Dominion Voting Systems. She was contracted as a freelance worker to work for the company on Election Day. She did file an affidavit claiming she saw voter fraud in Detroit, but Chief Judge Timothy Kenny of the Third Judicial Circuit Court in Michigan dismissed her claims in a November 13, 2020, court ruling, stating her allegations simply are not credible. The claim appeared as an article published by Gateway Pundit on November 15, 2020, titled "Whistleblower and Dominion Staffer Saw Detroit Voter Fraud," which opened, quote, "Outsiders hired to manage and operate the Detroit voting machines saw the fraud." Whistleblower Melissa Carone is now on record with the court saying she told her supervisor about massive fraud in Detroit at the TCF Center on election night and was told, "We're not here to run their election," by her boss. This case is part of one filed by the Great Lakes Justice Center. A Detroit judge has already essentially said all the affidavits are irrelevant in his mind because the city of Detroit says they did everything okay. End quote. Users on social media only saw this title, description and thumbnail, quote, "Whistleblower and Dominion staffer saw Detroit voter fraud. Outsiders hired to manage and operate the Detroit voting machines saw the fraud." Whistleblower Melissa Carone is now on record with the court saying she told her supervisor about massive fraud in Detroit at the TCF Center on election night and was told, "We're not here to run their election," by her boss. This case. End quote. The Gateway Pundit article claimed Carone officially told the court in Michigan about allegedly witnessing fraud on election night. Quote, "Whistleblower Melissa Carone is now on record with the court saying she told her supervisor about massive fraud in Detroit at the TCF Center on election night and was told, 'We're not here to run their election,' by her boss. This case is part of one filed by the Great Lakes Justice Center. A Detroit judge has already essentially said all the affidavits are irrelevant in his mind because the city of Detroit says they did everything okay. Carone saw the same ballots being run repeatedly, where the same stack of 50 Biden ballots became 500 votes. No valid or legal oversight of ballot process. It was just Democrats policing Democrats. Poll workers duplicated ballots and were changing the votes on the ballots, stealing votes in plain sight. End quote. Carone was hired as a contractor by Dominion Voting System for the general election. She was not a staffer for the company. Lead Stories has debunked multiple claims that Dominion Voting Systems was engaged in election fraud, and the Department of Homeland Security Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has stated the election was the most secure in American history. The article asserts the judge dismissed Carone's claims because they were irrelevant in his mind because the city of Detroit says they did everything okay. That statement in the Gateway Pundit article is not supported by the court documents. The judge ruled on November 13, 2020, that Carone's claims were unsubstantiated, writing, quote, "Affiant Melissa Carone was contracted by Dominion Voting Services to do IT work at the TCF Center for the November 3, 2020 election. Ms. Carone, a Republican, indicated that she witnessed nothing but fraudulent actions take place during her time at the TCF Center." Offering generalized statement, Ms. Carone described illegal activity that included, untrained counter-tabulating machines that would get jammed 4 to 5 times per hour, as well as alleged cover-up of loss of vast amounts of data. Ms. Carone indicated she reported her observations to the FBI. Ms. Carone's description of the events at the TCF Center does not square with any of the other affidavits. There are no other reports of lost data, or tabulating machines that jammed repeatedly every hour during the count. Neither Republican nor Democratic challengers nor city officials substantiate her version of events. The allegations simply are not credible. End quote. Judge Kenny ruled, plaintiffs are unable to meet their burden for the relief sought. The lawsuit included 6 affidavits from vote count challengers. Law and Crime published an article on November 13, 2020, titled, "Michigan Judge Denies Injunction, Finding Trump Supporters Conspiracy Theories Lacking in Detroit," describing the ruling. Quote, "The judge also laid waste to the Internet rumor that the company Dominion Voting Services tried to rig the election for President-elect Joe Biden electronically, a baseless theory that entered into the court record via its contractor, Republican Melissa Carone." End quote.